Tomorrow marks the 10-year anniversary of the death of Trayvon Martin in Sanford, Florida. It's something many in this area and across the country will never forget.
While Martin's death was not a police issue, it did spark debate on how police view the wearing of hoodies by black youth and even the character of blacks themselves. I spoke with a local pastor, the new police chief, and the first African-American female sheriff in DeKalb County's history, and asked how law enforcement has changed regarding race relations in the last decade. It's tonight's top local story.
You want your police department to mirror your city, and you want the behaviors in your department to mirror how the city expects you to act.
Our young men are still being shot without being questioned. Our young men are still being viewed upon in a sense that is dehumanizing. There's still a double standard in our society. And so I still think we have a great deal of work to do.
The divide between law enforcement and African Americans is wide. It's a reason why they give what's called the talk to their kids for the last 100 years or more. It's how to deal with law enforcement so you aren't killed by police during what should be a routine stop. I got it, and my father was a police officer. It wasn't something that was easy to say.
It's a shame that we have to teach our children to behave differently, and so nobody talked about the talk. But everybody did it. I don't know a black man in America whose parents did not give him that talk growing up. And now we're giving it to our daughters as well.
The death of Trayvon Martin was not at the hands of police, but of George Zimmerman, who wanted to be a police officer. It's still a stain that police officers have to endure. The new chief says the way to help African Americans believe more in police is to have more people who look like and can relate to them on the force.
It's about the trust between law enforcement and the community. And how do we fix that? We fix that by going out and letting people know who we are.
Those are incidents that none of us want to go through in our city. Whether it's police related or not, it's still a tone, it's still a behavior, it's still a belief. And at the end of the day, people look at it as black and white. And that's just something that we need to make sure that we start looking at each other and realizing that we have more commonalities than having differences.
Trayvon Martin would be 27 today. With the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, and others at the hands of police more recently, law enforcement is a lot more careful in interactions with African Americans. But as my father used to say while on the force in Chicago, it's all about building relationships with people so they trust you. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 11 for part 2 of Race Relations 10 years later.